How we doing today, guys? It's Sam and Alex here with your weekly fishing report, as always. A lot of stuff going on this week.
Yeah, good rock fishing. Pickerel's getting hot, and perch are moving deep.
A lot of deep perch.
So let's talk about some rock fishing, Sammy. What have you heard out there?
I know a lot of guys are still trolling. I'm sure there's a lot of people trolling this weekend coming up, especially with the big tournament. You're going to see a lot of these guys this time.
A lot of umbrellas.
A lot of umbrellas, a lot of tandem rigs. But we're trying to get down deep. This is something that will get down deep for you without having to add all the weight and all the other strain that a lot of other gear put on you. It just has one bill.
Yeah, it's a classic stretch. Each one of them, it will tell you how deep to go. The ones we have go anywhere from 20 to 30 foot of water, so easier to get down there. Like you mentioned, less weight, and they're classic lures that most people stop using, but they still work.
So we're trying to get down, what is the depth they've been in is around 20
to
to 35
feet,
feet, about something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to be, this time of year, maybe in the last 8 feet to 5 feet of the water column.
Correct.
So you are adding quite a bit of weight to some of this stuff.
Yeah.
We should have brought some up here, but even though this one here has, 2 or 3 ounces, you're still going to add quite a bit of weight, maybe 8, 10, 12 ounces to get down where you're looking to go. This is a bigger bait than a lot of people are using this time of the year, but it's definitely not too early to start pulling this kind of stuff.
I mean, there's some good fish out there in the 30s, some 35 plus inch fish also being reported, so that's something that we're going to start using here in the coming up weeks.
Yeah, and a 28-inch fish will take that without a problem.
I mean, you're going to be finding yourself wanting to troll some of these bigger baits probably by Thanksgiving or so.
Yeah.
Especially as the fish move south, and hopefully we got some of those migratory fish making their way in. Who knows what's going to happen? They just hit New Jersey, so we'll see.
Hopefully.
What happens. Every year's different, so let's hope for the best.
For sure.
I know they're been trolling pretty much the mouth of Eastern Bay. Decent amount of fish. A lot of decent sized fish in the 30s. Thomas Point's picking up. And also, everything is kind of moving south as we speak right now. Most of your upper parts of the bay, and when I say upper parts, it's just north of the bridge. It's starting to slow down pretty far north. Patapsco's slowing down just a little bit. Haven't heard too much from the Chester. I know they're still catching fish, though. All of these places will still have fish, but those bigger sized fish are pretty much kind of going to be a little bit more south. Got the first few reports of fish down at pretty much Point Lookout area, way down south in the Potomac, and apparently they are getting some good sized fish, mostly old mid-20s and some 30s in there. So it's starting to get into that pattern of those fish pushing out and moving south. So
you can catch them besides trolling too, right? Jigging is always popular. It's getting more and more popular by the day, but jigging this time of the year can be super effective because these fish are chasing bait. And they're chasing pretty big bait, hence why I have an 8-inch profile here, 7-inch profile. Those are going to be what you're looking to do right now. This is the time of year to be fishing these bigger baits. And like I was saying, they're feeding on big baits and big schools of bait. So when you do find a school of bait or you find a school of rockfish, you can jig on them and you can catch a lot of fish sometimes. I mean, you can spend all day just continuing to drift over a school of fish if you can keep with them.
Now, keep a couple different sizes too. I mean, most of the time when you pull up just school of bait and break-in fish, you can see the size of the fish that you have on the upper water column. So play around. Of course, if you're throwing those big baits, you'll catch big and mid-sized fish. You never know what you're going to catch, but keep a couple smaller ones just in case all you're finding is smaller fish. That way you can actually hook a few of them. Besides that, I mean, chunking, it's kind of one of those things that a lot of people don't do a lot, but it still works. Your typical spots like Hackett's will be one of them. The Bay Bridge pilings will also hold fish throughout the year. Classic spots that you can never fail to try and anchor out and cast some cut bait out there, cut LY and whatnot. I know the guys from shore are having a blast right now, especially in some of the areas up in the Magathie. Like for example, some guys that have private property catch some good fish still in top water, a few
top water fish left.
A lot of subsurface stuff now, paddle tails, jerk baits. Mountain Point's been pretty good. The guys up in the Patapsco are still producing some fish in the Inner Harbor. Thomas Point guys are still catching some few fish up there on subsurface. Everything's kind of switching slowly to subsurface now with the colder temperatures and as the bait's flowing out. out of the creeks and rivers. That's why we emphasize, the mouth of the river all the time.
So besides rockfish, there's still some other stuff going on, especially perch. This is a fun time of year to perch fish, and what's really great about it is you typically get on huge schools of perch.
Oh, yeah.
And you can sit there all day long and jig right on top of them and catch as many as you so well please. And there's all sorts of things you can use. You can use a Chesapeake sabiki style rig, which is going to have 2 teasers with a small hook on there. You can jig those right off of the bottom, or you can go the approach of more of like a sting silver or just some sort of small jig that has smaller hooks on them. Those are going to be great bets for you.
Yeah, and then remember any kind of ledge.
Yeah,
and
ledge,
15 foot of water. Sometimes they might be deeper. I know I usually like to still fish or bait rich pilings, just a little bit deeper water, and drop those sabikis, and you'll have fun. That's one of those things that you can pretty much do throughout the year again.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes, like you said, they school up so tight this time of the year where you'll sit on there and catch a whole bunch of them. You'll catch some bigger ones this time of the year, too. So, besides perch, we got stuff on the creeks going on. And the fishery that's picking up even more as we speak is pickerel.
Pickerel is just, in my opinion, the best time to be pickerel fishing right now. The temps are perfect that you can do kind of however you want to do it. You'll see some in a little bit deeper water, but you can also cast the shorelines, which is, I think, the most fun part about it. It's almost like your speckled trout or redfish in the islands. You're just casting towards the shallows, fishing small baits, those 4 3-inch profiles, small jig heads, and being able to work through the water.
Yeah, and if you're not a artificial guy, you can use bait.
Yeah,
live minnows. Sure. We have plenty of them.
Plenty of minnows.
You can cast some bobbers out there if you have a pier, or you're just going, on the shoreline. Just cast a few bobbers out there with minnows and let them sit there. And the cool thing about that is you never know what you're going to hook up with those minnows.
Yep.
There's yellow perch starting to pick up too in a few of the rivers, especially up north. As you get more up north into Bush River, up to the flats and all those areas, it's getting to be more productive and a lot more fish are willing to bite up there. I'm pretty sure most of your eastern shore rivers and creeks are still going to have plenty of perch, yellow perch and whites in there. And remember, guys, the fishing does not stop. There's catfish all mixed in there too, especially those big blue catfish. Marshy Hope, even the Patapsco. There's some good size, blue cats and channels that you can still chunk bait for. I know that's one of those fisheries that we kind of picked up on during COVID.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's fun. I mean, big size blue cats around.
Big fish. So you can use lighter gear if you choose to. It can be a lot of fun.
It's one of those things where you just want to get out of the house for a few hours and just go cast the surf rod or just a small rod with cut bait. Fort Smallwood. You got Fort Armstead, North Point. A lot of those short areas, like state parks and parks where you can go and just chill and throw a line out there. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of things to look forward to, freshwater wise. Freshwater. Crappie fishing, usually picks up this time of the year. And you got your bass fishing, which is kind of tapering now, but it's still pretty good.
Still an opportunity. I saw quite a few bass were pulled out of down towards Blackwater, where we see most of the snakeheads. What's going on with them, the snakeheads?
Snakeheads are pretty much, you're getting into your actual last few weeks,
couple
of snakehead fishing, and one of those things that you want to do, especially down in Blackwater, is minnows. You still be able to catch them with lures, and especially down there, all you're looking for is your water temperatures. Since it's so shallow there, the temperatures can go from really cold to really hot within a few days of warm water spell there. But besides that, MEPS are going to be your best ticket. Number 3s and 4s, minnows. That's what I will go with for this week, and that's down in Blackwater. If you're fishing the Patuxent, chatterbaits and spinnerbaits as always. And then as we get into this colder water, just football jigs on the bottom will work pretty good too.
All right. Well, I think that just about covers it for this week. We thank you guys for stopping by, and have a great rest of your week.
Have a good one.